Alright guys, what I'm doing today is a little bit different. Today's recipe has a lot of moving parts that I decided to do in time-lapse instead of real time. This will save time a little bit for the video and get you a better generalized idea of what to do. Plus, it'll allow you to do things your way. And by just seeing the general methodology, you'll be able to tweak it to fit your own desires. Today, we're making cherry cheesecake egg rolls. So we're going to start off by pitting our cherries. Could you just buy cherry pie filling? Sure, but it's also pretty easy to do this at home. Really, the only things you need are cherries, sugar, and maybe some cornstarch. In order to pit the cherries, get yourself a chopstick or a skewer and take the stem off of all the cherries. Go ahead and put your chopstick or skewer right where the stem was. Hold your cherry and push it on through. Most of the time this should work. Now, you don't necessarily have to pit your cherries this way if you're making what I'm making. After all, we are cooking them down into more of a compote. However, I do want them to hold more of a form, so I'm not worrying too much about having whole cherries, but I'm also not just breaking them apart. Keep some paper towels or maybe an old dish rag nearby because cherries are very juicy. And not only are they juicy, but that cherry juice does stain very easily too. Once you've pitted all your cherries, go ahead and put them in that pot. They have plenty of juice in them, so you don't need to add any water. Just go ahead and add your sugar, stir it around, and get to cooking. You can add a little bit of lemon juice if you like, but it's really not necessary. Keep cooking it and adding sugar as you go to thicken it, and if you really want to give it more of a gel-like consistency, add a little bit of cornstarch dissolved in water. Go ahead and put it away until you're ready to use it, and now we'll move on to the cheesecake. What I'm making is a Japanese-style silky cheesecake. These aren't dense like New York-style cheesecakes. Instead, they tend to be more jiggly, more creamy, more soft. As for our ingredients, we want softened cream cheese, softened butter, lemon juice, separated egg whites and egg yolks, granulated sugar, and powdered sugar. First things first, we make our meringue. A lot like those meringue cookies we made, link in the description. You want your egg whites, you want your sugar, and you want to beat the heck out of them until you form, well, almost a marshmallow cream consistency. We're going to be folding the meringue into the final mixture at the end here, which is going to give us that airy nature of the Japanese-style cheesecake. And now for the cheesecake itself. This is the part where we beat together all the other ingredients, including the butter, the cream cheese, the lemon juice, maybe some vanilla extract, and the powdered sugar. We're also going to add in cherry juice for flavor. This is, after all, cherry cheesecake. Fold in that meringue and we're ready to go. Alright guys, now comes the fun part. We're actually going to form our cherry cheesecake egg rolls. As you can see here, I've got some egg roll wrappers. I've got the oil nice and hot. And of course, I've got my cheesecake filling and the extra cherries. You want to keep a little water on hand as well because you do have to wet a couple edges of the wrappers. Now this is something we do have to do with our hands, so make sure they're nice and clean. Oh, and make sure your surface is clean as well. So go ahead and lay it down diagonal like this. Get a little scoop of our cheesecake and put it in a nice line across the center and a couple of these cherries right in like that. Now we take this bottom edge, we're just going to come and bring it up and over, tuck it under a little bit, bring our sides in nice and tight. And this is where the water comes in. We're just going to wet this edge here. And bring it up and over like so. We want this tucked in nice and good. We don't want there to be any real pockets where stuff can come out. And if you need to use a little extra water to wet these edges, go ahead. We've got our first one formed here. I'm just going to set this right on down in the fryer basket and work on the next couple. I'm going to only do 3 at a time. Pretty full, but I think it's going to work just fine. Now we take this and lay it right on down in the basket. And you know what? There's not a ton of space in this fryer basket, so I'm only gonna do 2 at first. Let's see how these guys do. I love that sound. Already they're starting to crisp up and rise a bit. It's not gonna take too long to do these. We'll just bring these up a little bit. Look at that, those are so pretty. They're gonna need another minute there. I'll go ahead and flip this one too. Might not wanna flip, that's okay. Oh, accidentally poked a little hole in that one, that's okay. Time to pull these guys out. And actually, they can drain just fine in the basket there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the cinnamon sugar down on the plate so I can roll them in that when I get them out of the basket. So go ahead and just pour some sugar out on the plate, and then a couple good dashes of cinnamon here, and give it a good mix. A little shake back and forth just to even it out on the plate. And now, let's grab our first one, throw it down here, and give it a little roll. And now, we'll do it with the second one as well. Now, there are a lot more of these to go, guys, but in the meantime, you've just seen how it's done, and it looks really good. I think I need to bite into one to see how they are. So here we go, our first cherry cheesecake egg roll. I'm excited. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Now the one thing I will say, the liquid in here, well, the cheesecake is liquid, so you're probably going to want to put these in the fridge afterwards so it can set. But that flavor, I mean, take a look at this. We got the cinnamon sugar, and oh, it is dripping, dripping, dripping. But we got the cinnamon sugar on here with this fried egg roll shell, and it's just filled with an amazing cherry cheesecake filling. These flavors are, well, let's just say you might not ever want a different dessert in your life. Except for maybe the world's best cake. Future episode, wink wink. And here you can see the cherries too. That doesn't even need ice cream. That right there is just the dessert's gonna have you begging for more. But I promise you, you probably don't want to eat more than one of these. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing after all. Anyway, these cherry cheesecake egg rolls are to die for. They're not too hard to make. Sure, it takes a bit of time, but it's not that hard. You want to impress your friends or make something that you can enjoy every now and then, these are it. Give it a shot sometime, guys. Until next time, I'm some guy who cooks. Alright, so I lied, I'm not done just yet because, you know, it's fine and dandy for me to taste these things, but you gotta know if other people like them too. So I got a special guest.
Hola.
Say hello to Alejandra. She is awesome, and she's gonna taste the cherry cheesecake egg roll along with me here. I'll grab half.
Right.
If you grab half, oh man, a lot of my filling fell out there. I'm just gonna scoop it up a little bit. There we go.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Like that?
Yeah, just like that.
All right. I love the cinnamon.
The cinnamon is an excellent touch. Yes.
It reminds me of something my grandma used to do. Pastelitos. I like it.
That's high praise.
You could do that sometime.
Pastelitos?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to have you on to help me make those, and we'll do a full episode on them.
All right.
Sound good?
Yep. Why not?
All right. Well, guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, wherever those buttons are, and share it with your friends. I'm some guy who cooks, and you're some person who's watching.
All right.
See ya.